We are tackling a topic which I would say that is some of the important. It's a topic of importance, as well as money is concerned and marriage is concerned. So we are tackling a topic that hits close to home, that hits very close to home for so many couples. Financial sins that can destroy even the strongest of marriages.
Financial sense.
Financial sins,
Yeah, so money can be a blessing, but if you are not able to handle it well, it can become a curse. That can wreck your relationship, can lead to divorce if you're not able to handle it well. So do you know the 6 biggest financial mistakes that lead to divorce? If you are worried about your marriage and finances, you are not alone.
Oh, come on, man.
And this episode is for you. So let's dig in and let's try to reason together.
Oh, my goodness. It is for everyone. We are going to break down the topic, financial pitfalls that couples face, from conflict in financial goals to the heavy burden of debt, and even the dangers of comparing your marriage to others.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. So people should stay put and let's roll.
But you are not just here to point out the problems. We are not just going to tell you the problems, right? We will also try and share practical solutions and biblical insights to help you heal your marriage and build a solid financial foundation together.
That's what's up. All right, so suffice to say again, so stay with us as we dive deep, share, and like, thumbs up, and all the good stuff.
And bring your comments.
Bring your comments as we dive deep into how to protect your marriage from these financial traps. They are traps, It's time to heal, rebuild, and strengthen your relationship. And when we come back, I'm just going to take a quick break, just to give you time to put it on your socials. So when we come back, we will delve into how money destroys great marriages,
including the richest people.
Including for the richest people. I think we have some stories to share when we come back. Gifty's going to tell us some story about some rich people.
Hi, welcome back. I am Gifty Oteng, licensed health and financial services professional.
Oh, come on, man. Gifty for you, Dr. Gifty Oteng for that matter. And I am also a Samoa Oteng, and I am also a licensed health and financial services professional. So with that being said, we have, usually we want to show you something that we derive most of the conversations from. So we have a scripture, which is, I think, the most important book we can learn from, right? So scripture is here, and if you can see from those watching on Facebook and other places, TikTok, you don't see the scripture, but the scripture is from 1 Timothy chapter number 6, verse 10. It's saying that, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, for which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So last week we used the same scripture to begin the show. Last 2 weeks we used the same scripture to begin the show because many people quote this scripture and determined to be poor because they think that if they get rich, they are sinning. That's not right. So we just want to hit that again before we move on to even money and marriage issues. For some people, they think their marriage is working because they are poor. Of course, they don't love money, right? So they are doing good. But come on, man, that's not right. That is not the point.
And if you don't have money in the relationship, you are going to have problems. So I don't know how your marriage will work if you don't have money or if you are poor.
Yes. And so basically what this scripture, the context is really very, it's a little complicated. You got to read into the lines. The scripture is not saying that we should not like money. The question is, we should not love money. So if you are in a marital relationship and your finances are not working out, you have to first assess your love. Is your love more to your spouse or to the money in your relationship, whether you have a lot or you don't have it. And that is where the scripture comes in. For the love of money, if you love money more than your spouse, then of course you are making the biggest mistake. And for that matter, whether you don't have money or you have, your marriage could be in trouble. And also, I don't know if
Yeah, so I think the points that you're bringing across is very important. So you are putting like your partner and money side by side, right? And you're saying that if you love money more than your partner, then you are going to get into problems. So like if we put it side and side and we have to pick, we definitely have to love our spouse more than the money.
right.
In so doing, then it wouldn't be the root of all evil or cause divorce in a relationship. So it's the two things that we are talking about here. But some people in their mind, they think that if I make more money, it means that I'm going to be able to provide for my spouse and my spouse is going to be happy. So that is putting the priorities at the wrong place, you know. So you have to set it up in such a way that you love your spouse, you love money, but you don't love money more than your spouse or like money.
Yes.
You like money or you need money, you know, but you have to choose your spouse over money for sure.
Definitely. Oh, man, you don't love money. We want to like money. And as a matter of fact, money shouldn't be loved. It's an object.
Yeah.
You know, so life should be directed towards living things and, of course, a deity, which is God, right? So if you love money, you have misplaced such an important thing that could actually go to family, your wife, or your husband. And that is why scripture is saying that for the love of money. And as a matter of fact, as you love money, you get greedy. If you continue with that scripture, that's what it says. The love of money will lead to more problems because of the greediness and the piercing that the scripture says. The camera is freezing over there. That's why I took it off. But definitely, we shouldn't love money. We should definitely make sure that we are over money. Money is good. Like she said, it is something that is a need and sometimes it's a want, you know, but obviously not something over any human being for that matter. Not even just your spouse, but anybody at all should never be loved beyond, man should never be loved above any human being. Not even over your dog. Come on, man, because your dog is a living thing, right?
It shouldn't be loved at all, right?
It shouldn't be loved at all. That's the key. It shouldn't be loved at all. Money should not. So with that being said, I think we can go to our show outline and then we can definitely see what is coming up for our show. All right, so let me see if I can go back to this. And then, yes, so our show outline, as we start, it's going to start me. Right.
Yes, so the first sin, we are talking about how many sins? Six sins, yeah. Right? So the first sin is conflict financial goals.
Yes.
Conflicting financial goals.
Definitely. And the second sin is excess debt and financial stress. Those are sins in marriages that lead to divorce, okay?
And the third and fourth one is lack of trust and extended family strain.
Alrighty. And then the fifth sin that triggers marriages to break down is the sin of competition and comparison. And then?
Yeah, and I think the biggest one of them all is lack of budget.
Oh, come on, man. The sin of lack of budget. Yeah, the sin of lack of budget. All right. So we are going to go from there then onto our main, which one we're going to have to start off with the sin of conflict in financial goals and priorities. And I think if you stay with us for a while, we're going to do justice to the topic. All right.
Okay, so let's start with conflicting financial priorities and goals. You know, it's very common for couples to have different views on spending. You know, so if I have a different goal in life, I will try and maybe pursue that. You know, the priorities may be different from what your goals are. So as couples, I think the best thing that we can do is to align our goals. We have to align our goals in such a way that we all know what we are pursuing, so that if we align our goals and our desires in a way that is common to both of us, then we don't get into this conflict. Because I want to do this, you want to do something different, and it's all require money. And it's coming from the same source, the income that is coming in. If I'm perceiving something and you are perceiving something different, it's likely that there will be conflict. So the first thing is to align our goals so that we all know that we are doing this together as a couple, or we are doing this side by side, so that we know what we are seeking in the relationship.
Oh, come on, man. Align your goals. Align goals. If couples have completely different goals for the future, as a matter of fact, sometimes they don't even have goals. So we should have probably started with lack of goals. But we are assuming that you may have some goals. Goals to build a retirement plan for both of you when you retire, right? Goals to sort of create wealth while you are not retired, right? Goals to do other important stuff financially, businesses, real estate, insurance, everything that requires a goal. You are setting goals. But if you do not align those goals, like she said, if you think we should build a home, in some place for retirement, and I'm thinking something else, then obviously, unless we both agree as pursuing both goals together, there's going to be a conflict. And many marriages are breaking down because of the fact that financial goals are not, agreed on by the couples. If you are one, then your goals should be one. Oh, come on, man. Do you agree?
Oh, I do.
Because scripture says that, for two shall come together and they be one. So you should have a unity of purpose in terms of your finances. You both should agree on building or buying home together. You can say that I'm going to build a house or I'm going to buy a house, and the other person said, no, I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to do this. No, your goals, if you have set goals, then your goals should definitely align with each other. So that, as a matter of fact, you should have one common financial goal for the family, so that there wouldn't be that sort of resentment, that sort of tension, or anything that is able to cause the marriage to be in trouble. If your goals are one, you're agreeing on, retirement. Before retirement starts, when you're going to retire, how much you want to retire with. You can say that, oh, as for me, I want to retire with this amount of money, my retirement account. And your wife is, oh, I want to retire with this X amount. This is Y. Meanwhile, you're both retiring together, but one person's retirement is small. So who's going to depend on the other? Because you have not agreed on something like that. And then when retirement comes, if you can stay together till retirement, by the way, if your marriage can stand, around retirement, it's going to break. Because at that time, you are going to make much more than she, because you didn't agree together. And that can bring the same tension that newlywed couples may face. So your goals must be set in agreement with each other. If you say that, oh, you save a little, I will save more, we both have to agree, knowing that when we retire, we're going to depend on my income for the two of us. But you can't just make everybody have their own sort of goal and assume that it's going to be accepted on and agreed on when the time comes. So all financial goals, including retirement, insurance, child care, education of our children, everything must be agreed on. Failure to agree to them means that you are inviting arguments, you are inviting tension, you are inviting resentment, you are inviting all sorts of things that are able to cause your marriage to break down. And that is one of the sins that cause or lead to breakdown in marriages. I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, so with the goals, I think is like you said, some people don't even know how to set goals. It's a big thing because maybe I'm not thinking about the future right now. I just want this now and then. I need something. I just want to go and spend the money. So it boils down to the two of you coming together and talking about it. Because it's not, some people have short-lived. Like they don't really think far ahead of what will happen to them, the future and all that. We just want to take care of today. So there is no goal. We don't even talk about our goals in life. We don't want to know. We don't even talk about retirement. Who talks about retirement in their relationship? Who talk about, investment?
Most people don't.
Most people don't. And we take it one day at a time and we move with the flow. So because we are moving with the flow, there is no vision, there is no direction, there is no goals set for you as couples. You just do things anyhow, So the money comes in, you're like, oh, I got paid today. I have to go spend this X amount of money because there is no guide with what we are doing with our money. So I think, like you said, we have to talk about how we can set goals. Then the sin will come in if our goals do not align.
So the first thing actually is failure to set goals. So
Yes.
that is the first thing. If you don't have financial goals, that is the first thing that's going to bring problems. And then setting the goals, if you agree to set financial goals as a couple, and then you do not align your goals, or everybody has their own goal, as we will see in the future as we're going forward. You want this for your family, this person wants that. If we don't trash those out, then it's going to lead to even more problems. And many marriages, good ones, are beginning to fall apart as a result. Now, let's talk about the story that you had brought up, because I'm pretty sure this is probably one of the reasons why those stories occurred. Do you want to bring that up?
Yeah, so I think I was telling you about the three richest people that we all know. We have the Microsoft
former Microsoft
former.
CEO.
Oh, he's former, right? What's his name?
Bill Gates,
Bill
right?
Gates.
Yep.
And we have Elon Musk, right? And we have
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. Yeah, those three people have a lot of money.
Oh, come on, man. They got money.
They have a lot of money. I think they hold almost more than, I don't know what percentage of the wealth in the world that is in their possession. But the funny thing is, all three of them are not married. They all got divorced.
So they
recently.
were married.
They were married at a
divorced.
point. So you can see here that money is not all that it takes for marriage to work. It's the people handling the money and what you do with the money that will keep your marriage together or your marriage falling apart.
My goodness. And I can say that potentially all these three marriages broke down as a result of at least some of the reasons we are going to say. The first reason being maybe they didn't set the goals, didn't agree on the goals together. I'm pretty sure that when Bill Gates started his company, they didn't even know he was going to be that rich. And so they probably didn't, sit down together and talk about what time we're going to leave the company when it gets better or bigger, and what we're going to do with our money once we leave the company, what we're going to do with it. I'm pretty sure they didn't do those details because, of course, they didn't know it was going to be that big of a money coming back, right? Always it's like hindsight is not something they know. But along the line, if they had sat down and planned and said, hey, the way we are getting money, we have to plan. We have to make sure that this is the time we exit. They probably thought about, exiting, retiring and leaving the company. But after life after leaving the company, what were we going to do financially together? Those details may not have been agreed upon. And disagreement, for that matter, could have led to the tensions that led to the breakdown of the marriage between, Bill Gates and his wife. It's as simple as that. I mean, you could blame other things such as infidelity and all those things in people's marriages as being one of the reasons. But ultimately, it is the plan. When they don't plan, when they don't talk about the details, then the financial infidelity begins. That is where people do things that others were not agreeing to initially, and then the strain and the tension and the arguments and the resentment and fight begin that lead to divorce. So yes, money is good. It is good to be rich, and we like money. We don't love money. But if you do not set goals, you are potentially going to lose your marriage right off the bat because money is not everything. If it was, I think they will be the best married couples. Come on, man. What do you need? Bill Gates doesn't need money for anything. Jeff Bezos doesn't need any money for anything. Elon Musk doesn't need any money for anything. So, what a perfect marriage you think it could be. Oh, come on, man. They can buy everything. They can travel the world together. They can live in the expensive places. But all that didn't work. So it's not just the money itself, but the planning that go along with the money. But the sad thing is, for most of us, we are not even rich, and yet we are not also planning. So you don't even have, and the little you have, you don't even plan with it. So your strain is, oh, come on. Your strain is even worse. It's more difficult than the rich people who have the money and they not even plan. Because you don't have, and the little you have, you can plan. That is double whammy right there. So that is something that we need to definitely talk about. So to prevent this strain in couples setting different priorities and goals, it is essential to have open and honest conversations about your financial priorities. I mean, some people, especially some women, they don't care about the money. You can have all the money you want, but they will tell you that they only want quality time. Come on, man.
Yeah.
They say, all I want is you can have the billions. Again, that may be one of the reasons why these billionaires could not hold their marriages, because they are always stuck at work, working for more money, and the women didn't get the quality time that they needed. And so planning would have been better, but they did not. And so that is usually some of the things that happen, not just the money, but the planning. Financial priorities can be something that you have to actually do. They come together to create. That's what you have to do. You come together to create a shared vision for your financial, future, one that respects both partners' goals and dreams.
Yes.
It's not like you are the world changer. You're going to change the world, and your wife is a person that doesn't want to change even her house.
With all the money,
with all the money, she doesn't care about changing the house. She just wants to change you, so you'll be home more often. Come on, man. So if you do not align your dreams and partner along those dream lines, you don't take your wife along when you are planning those dreams. You are going to have a marriage that will break down no matter what. So that is one thing: setting different priorities and goals and dreams. So align your priorities and help you as a team rather than to just leave everything for something to happen.
So I like the part that you said that respect for each other when you are planning, when you are aligning your goals and your vision. The respect that comes in. I think sometimes the men get it wrong by saying that I'm giving you everything that you need in life. They don't really listen to what the woman is saying. That I just don't need the world. I need you, to be around, to be home. But sometimes it gets to the point that you just, because you want to make more, and sometimes your vision, your priorities, because the money is coming in, may change. And you may forget to bring your wife along. So if that happens, you are pursuing something different. Like you said, your wife doesn't want to change the world, But if you bring her along, you have a common goal, you have a common vision, and you are going to follow through together. But if you leave her behind, she may pursue something different, or desire something different. And that will bring the division and the constraints and the resentment and the misunderstanding that can lead to divorce.
My goodness. So bring your husband along. The wives, you too, you should also bring your husbands along. It's not just for you. So bring each other along in aligning your financial and future goals. Some couples don't even talk about how many children they will have. They have not even agreed upon it. It's just happening on the way. And then along the line, they begin to argue, oh, I want 5. Oh, I want 7. And then that problem comes. So if you agree on goals, not just finances, but importantly finance, because finance is a very key thing in marriages, then you are going to have a smooth sail. I'm not saying just that, but other things being equal. So definitely let's do that. I think it's a good time to go to the sin
Yes,
number 2,
yes.
right? Sin number 2. Unfortunately, I think my one of our cameras is not working right, so you are frozen, and so will probably you take off once I finish speaking. My first part is
Okay.
excess. Sin number 2 is excess debt and financial stress. That is another very huge sin that is destroying and triggering a lot of marriages to break down into divorce. Excess debt. Last time you made something profound, a statement. You said that if you marry me, you have married my debt. Whatever student loan that I have, I brought that into the family, into the family that we are making together. And if I also married you rich, I also married the money. So it is both ways. Some women want to marry rich dudes who are already done as far as making life is concerned. They just want to come in and sit. But when they're married to a person who brought debt in the marriage, then they become discouraged. It doesn't work like that. So anyway, back to the main point. The main point is that excess debt and financial stress is another trigger for divorces in Christian marriages and all kinds of marriages. So what does that mean? That means that nothing strains a marriage quite like overwhelming debt. If your debt is about to cover you up, then there's a problem. Whether it's credit card debt, whether it is loans, or even overspending, debt can create constant stress and anxiety in several relationships. In fact, especially already established marriage relationships, debt can be a problem. And so we got to deal with that.
Yeah. And also, we have to know that when you realize that there is so much debt, or the credit card and the car loans and the student loans are overwhelming, and the mortgage and all that are overwhelming. The very important thing that you have to do to overcome this is to face the debt together. Like you have become one. You are one now. So because you are one, you are going to tackle this problem together.
Yes.
You are not going to leave the other partner behind and to deal with their problem. So you realize that, oh no, I married this person. There's too much debt. I'm going to make sure that she pays her debt and I will pay mine. We are not going to combine it. If you do that, is like you're planning for disaster to hit, because the person may be overwhelmed and the vision may not be aligned. So you face it together as a couple, So create a plan to reduce and eventually eliminate the debt. So you have to have this open and honest discussion that because of this debt, there are certain things we cannot do. Because of this debt, there are certain things that we have to cut down. So where we are going to live in a place that will be manageable because we have this amount of debt. We are not going to pretend that there is nothing there, then we are going to go for the biggest and the most expensive stuff. That can be very overwhelming. So we will get together, have a plan, and try to get rid of the debt. I think with our financial background, we've learned that getting rid of debt completely is always the best way to go.
Oh, come on, man. It's always the best way to go.
Yeah. So because you can't start investment if you are so much overwhelmed with debt. You can't plan for the future with your 401k, with all that, if you are so much in debt, because whatever you're saving, the debt is increasing, and it's adding in with the interest rates and all that. So the best thing as a couple is to come together and fight this debt together. So you celebrate small victories along the way. And remember that working together to tackle financial stress can eventually strengthen your marriage.
Oh, come on, man. Working together to tackle the debt can eventually, strengthen your marriage. Otherwise, the debt will lead to the marriage breaking down into a divorce. Some marriages have broken down because of excess debt. So you have to have a plan for debt management. And on this channel, we want to first let you know what we're talking about, and then we're going to go into specifics of how to actually take down the debt. You know, we have debt roll-up method as well as you know, a lot of snowball method, some specific ways. We're going to hit them on the channel. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We just want to tease you up with these conversations first. Now, after you know the importance, then we'll go into the nitty-gritty of how to do those things. So it's important first to know that a debt not tackled, growing debt can bring strain on the relationship. No matter how much that you love that woman, no matter how you love the man, if the man is hugely in debt and you can't turn to the left or to the right, that love begins to be painted off black. Come on. You know, you see your hubby as, I love this man, but for his debt, I love this woman, but all the credit cards, all the shopping, you know, we got to deal with the debt in order to make sure that nothing covers our love. You know, we say that the love of money is the root of all evil. Well, if debt is there, you don't have the money, but not having money is also a root of evil. Come on. Not having the money is the root of another great sense of evil, because you can't do anything. You can't enjoy your marriage. You can't enjoy your family because you have no room to turn. And I know people are struggling, especially in the West. You know, those in the diaspora. You know, we are taught to have credit card bills. You know, everybody tells you, oh, you need a credit. You need to have a credit. You need to have a credit. They don't tell you that if you get a credit, make sure you don't increase it. It's get credit, and then you get credit and become addicted to credit. So now you go to the shop, we have nothing, you know, to pay for stuff, and you just pick them up because now you have the credit, and you are buying, and that can strain a marriage. So if anybody is watching, any couple who may watch, if it is from your end that debt is increasing, check yourself so that I am straining my marriage by my debt, by the way I live my life, and eventually, especially if you are not married to somebody who is really God-fearing, who stick by you for better, for worse, as we say. At some point, they'll say that for better, but for worse, no more.
No worse. And also, I think sometimes with the credit card, because some of us, we just came to this country, you know, there is no really understanding of the way that money works. You know, we don't know how the credit card and the interest rate work. So all that I know is like they've given me a card and it's $5,000. So I have $5,000. You have $5,000. That's not your money.
It's a loan.
That is someone's money. It's not for you.
Yes.
And the person want to make money off you for using their money. So we have to really understand how money works, which we are going to discuss later on. So we really have to understand it before we go crazy in the shopping spree and spend all the money that is not ours.
So now I think it's a good time to go to sin number 3.
Yeah, so sin 3 is lack of trust.
Lack of trust. Oh,
lack
come on,
of
man.
trust. Yeah, so another major issue is lack of trust. So as we've talked about the 2 already, if I don't trust my partner, you know, there are certain things that I'm not going to go along with him. So if we are talking about vision or whatever, because the trust is not there, I'm not going to buy into that vision. I'm not going to come alongside because I don't trust you, you know. So we have financial fidelity, that people hide purchases.
That's infidelity.
Infidelity. So people hide purchases. They have secret accounts. They have undisclosed debt. That can really cause a lot of mistrust in every relationship. You know, like we were talking about being honest and having open conversation. If I have so much debt, I don't have to hide it. I have to bring it up. So that later on in our relationship, when my partner finds out, he's going to be like, I don't trust this person. That person hide all that from me. So that is something that we have to build the trust. We know we don't have to have any secret account that we put some money aside. I know from where we come from, we have the saying that we shouldn't fully trust a man because a man can really disappoint you. So you as a woman, you have to, have some things on the side.
That's what they tell you guys?
Yes. Let me translate it like, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So a man, let me translate that also for you in English. A man is not a pillow that you should rest your head on. That's what that literally means.
Yes.
But I think I've proven to you that it's not true, right?
Yes. So if
come on, man, you say yes, you proved me.
Oh, like you?
Yeah,
with your life?
I've proved that.
Oh,
that's
come
wrong,
on!
right?
I should have known by now. Yeah. So if they say that, and you are also coming up, you're making money, what other people may even advise you that you have to put something on the side, just to protect yourself. Have a secret account and put money in there. So in so doing, you protect yourself in case something happened, or the man decides to go for another woman or divorce you, you will save. So it all boils down to trust. So if there is no trust in that relationship, then the chance of not surviving is very high. So the third sin that we are talking about is trust. So let's try and do our best, and trust each other so that the goals and the vision will be aligned, so that we all work towards a long-lasting and strong relationship.
My goodness. Trust. It's this is financial trust. I mean, trust in marriage can carry across even trusting them around the other people around you, like they won't cheat on you in terms of you sleeping around or anything like that. We assume that side is fixed. That's good. Now we're talking about trusting them on their financial fidelity, as we can say, whether they will be financially trustworthy. If you put money in the bank and you haven't told your husband or your wife that this money is for this particular project, just leave it. You didn't say just leave it. It's going to be there because she's not going to take that money out and do her little secret project somewhere. And of course, trust will also make you even share accounts together. Some people can't even share one account. I don't trust you enough to have access to my account. When you go to the ATM and you are taking money, I'm not there. That is a disaster right there. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody should have joint accounts, but at least you should trust the person enough, even if not completely joint, some common account that will be for the family, that you can both trust each other. That's the beginning of trust in the relationship. If you can't trust that your party or your spouse can, manage your money well and will not sort of cheat you or waste your money, then there's a problem. If that trust is not there, of course, then you shouldn't trust them when they go to the supermarket alone, because you can't trust them with money that you both have. Can you trust them to walk alone and, thinking another man may call him or another woman may draw his attention on that? That trust is huge. But one thing you said last time you haven't said today is that trust is earned. Oh, come on, man. You have to earn the trust of the man. If you are not somebody who can be trusted, of course, then they won't trust you financially. If right from the get-go, in the beginning of the relationship, I find out that you are not trustworthy. If I leave money, you send it to abroad to have some projects that you don't even mention. Or if I leave money, you start shopping and hiding those clothes. I mean, for us, sometimes when we're going out and she pulls out a dress, I'm like, ooh, when did you buy this dress? If I am not trusting her for finance and I see the dress, it may come across as you are using all the money to buy a dress.
Right.
But because I trust her judgment, she knows that it means I haven't seen her worn it before or when she bought it. It doesn't read into finance. But if you are not trusted in finances, then a statement just like that can bring a whole new argument. Right. Oh, you think I use your money for this? What do you think of me? You think it will bring a whole different ball game of arguments. So trust must be earned. You have to prove right from the get-go that you can be trusted with everything, with the life of your partner. Some people can't even trust their life to their partners.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about insurance, life insurance. Some people say that, hey, I'm going to buy the insurance, but don't let my wife know. Oh, come on, man. Because I don't want to have her poison me slowly just to benefit.
Wow.
Yeah, we watch these, these crime shows where people, just kill people because of life insurance. So people don't want to trust their lives into their spouse's lives. Now, if your spouse cannot trust you to that extent, forget about trusting you with their bank account and your money. That one has to be closed off. You just have to. But you got to be able to work that out. And I know that we come from different places. Some couples come from different backgrounds, even different races. The way you talk, the way you deal with money is so different. Right. But you got to work towards a common goal so that you can understand the trust that comes with finances. If you cannot be trusted with money, your spouse's money, or your spouse cannot trust, you cannot trust your spouse about money from you, then there's a problem. It means that your marriage has got something else to be done. You seek counseling, seek financial help, financial advice, and all that, and ensure that those issues are ironed out so that your marriage doesn't end up breaking in the future, because that's the only end if you cannot trust your spouse with your finances. Your wife or your husband should be able to have access to all you have. As a matter of fact, you are one, so there shouldn't be, this is mine, you never touch this. If that's the case, then there's got to be more work done. I know I'm talking a lot, but
Let's go.
I believe that we should continue, right? So that is definitely something that we should do. Disclose your like she said, your account,
Your debt.
Sure your debt, and how you are paying for it. In fact, you both have to make the plan to pay for it and come out of it, and then you both plan what to do with the money. As we go forward, I think more will come up. So I don't want to spend too much time, on just the trust issue. But suffice to say that rebuilding trust takes time. It takes time and effort. Yeah. And start by being completely transparent, being open, not hiding stuff, about your finances. Share all relevant information and create a system of accountability. If you said you're using money for this, you should be able to account, for what you said you're doing the money for. I don't have to come and ask, you said you're going to do this, where is the money, or where is it? You yourself should be able to be plain and say, hey, honey, I told you I was going to do this. It didn't work out. And, the money is gone. Or this is how I got what I got from you. You don't say that it didn't work out. So should I report to you? Are you my boss? No, just you yourself create that system of accountability, right? That creates the trust. Yeah. Because trust is foundation for every relationship. And it must be protected at all costs. Must be protected at all costs. I don't know if you want to add anything, or we can go to sin number 4. All right, so sin number 4 is extended family strain. I'll start off with that, extended family strain. Now, let's talk about this. It's another huge one, extended family strain, especially those from the diaspora. You understand, whether it's supporting parents or siblings or other relatives. It can create tension in your marriage, especially if one partner feels the other is prioritizing their family over their spouse. And that's where the key actually is. Yes. Everybody has a family. Everybody wants to support their family. And especially those of us who are from places where extended family units are still very close and attached. You can't say that I shouldn't send money to my mom. You can't say that I shouldn't, give money to my siblings. It is part and parcel of the family unit, because we are interdependent. When I wasn't anybody, I was dependent on them for everything. And if I have achieved anything, I also have to help them when they are in need. Not that even if they don't have a need, I should give them because they help me. No. But where the need is, my spouse should be able to understand that I got those responsibilities. And similarly, I should also understand that she also got such responsibilities. And once you do that, it's going to be less of a stress than to, don't talk about it. every month or every week you are sending, and whether or not they have the need. Some people, they will send it just because their spouse is sending money. Me too, I'll send it. Yes, we got some hearts and loves, on TikTok. Thank you for that. They will send the money because their husband sends money to their mom all the time, even though your mom doesn't need the money, because your husband is sending, and your mom, his mom needs it. You find an uncle who needs it and just send it because you want to balance out. It's a cheat. It's not a cheat. It means that you are not really mature. If you are mature, you know where the need is where you support. And it's so funny. What happens is when people do that, eventually they will also have the need. And if the other person is not using, it becomes like, hey, so if you are mature enough, those things, you won't act, because that's childish, I should say.
Yes.
Just because you don't have a need, you will send the money anyway because your spouse is sending money. No, that's childish, and that is recipe for disaster. And I want you to talk about
back. I think we have to remember that if everybody is sending the money, it's going to create strain in the family finance. We have to know that the need of our family is not going to be ended anytime soon.
Oh, come on, man.
There will always be somebody that need money. So like you were saying, that we shouldn't prioritize the family over the family units.
Like the nuclear family.
The nuclear family. You have to do it in such a way that it's not causing strain, because they also have family, all right. All like the family back home, they are also trying to do something. You don't have to neglect your family units because your extended family need help. So that's what the conversation and the discussion comes in. You can come together and decide how much money you are able to help. Because somebody needs something right away, you have to drop everything and take the money out. That is not going to work.
At the detriment
of your nuclear family. And sometimes that will bring resentment and all that. And the other partner will be like, oh, because you sent money, I'm going to also send money. If that is the case, that definitely is a problem. But we should all agree on what we are able to do. Not that because you don't want to help, it's because you are not able to help. You are not at that stage in life to be able to solve all the family problems.
Oh, come on, man. Are you sure? Are you sure? For those in diaspora, they are abroad. You don't think they have all the money?
They don't have the money.
You sure, babe?
They don't have the money.
They are abroad, though.
That's why we really have to come into an agreement that we don't plug the money off trees here. You have to earn the money, and we have a lot of responsibilities to do for our family and for our extended family. So, but we're not going to do it in such a way that we are going to put our family in problems. So it is important to set clear boundaries with the extended family members. You have to be honest. You don't have to pretend to have money that you don't have, just to impress anybody. You can't impress them. You can impress them for one time. The next time that you don't have the money, they are going to complain.
Oh, my goodness.
So you have to agree on how much financial support you are willing and able to provide, and to make sure that your immediate family needs are taken care of. So there should be boundary that protects your marriage and keep it being overwhelmed by external pressures.
Protected from being overwhelmed by external pressures is what you mean. Yes. All right. So I would also add that, this is a touchy subject. This is very, very, it's something that can get a lot of people into trouble. Because again, from the different backgrounds that we come from, you may be from a rich home from back home, and maybe I'm not from a rich home from back home or wherever I am from. It could even be here. All parents could be in the U.S. or wherever you are, wherever you're married, wherever you're watching us from. And yet your parents and your siblings are still dependent on you. You may not have even traveled. Maybe you have gone to school, you get some career going, some nice job, and everybody knows that you must be making money, And so people look up to you from the extended family to help them out. Not remembering that you have your own issues to deal with. I mean, they know, but they think you have a lot. That's where the key is.
Right.
They don't expect you to, break down and tell them that I have this loan, I have this loan. So you bought a house, they don't know you have a mortgage. You are living in a big house. So my brother is rich. He is in a big house, but the big house comes with a big mortgage. My brother drives a nice car. Well, tell you what, it's expensive. He's paying for that car. Or my sister is doing this career. Tell you what, they have student loan. So everything that you see them having also comes with additional financial responsibilities of their own. And they may not have that. Some people don't even have all those things. And yet, because of their stature in society, their family completely defaults to them for every help. And that is where it becomes a problem. So you got to, like Gifty said, you got to first of all educate them that, hey, it's not as easy as you may think. And then also, make sure you remember to put your family first, because there's a key phrase that you mentioned that you help them today, and tomorrow when you can't, they'll not even remember. I have an experience, right? They will not even remember that you helped them. So somebody told me point blank, but I didn't help them anyway. And I have receipts to show that I did. But who are you to argue? Because when they needed it again and you couldn't give, that's the end. You didn't do anything.
Right.
Not that you want to remind people that you did anything or anything, but remember that your family is first. If you can do it for your family and budget well, which we're going to talk about, then potentially you could put in a slot for the extended family and help them without even asking, because you have planned and set goals and you have put in a portion that you use to help them all the time. If they come beyond what you have allotted from your budget, then you say no, because your budget has been already satisfied as far as how much you should help your extended family is concerned. So it's a tricky situation, and I know a lot of diasporans are going to be like, this is not easy. Somebody who may have come from a single mother home, and the mother struggled to take care of them, and now they have gone to school, they become this big shot, this nice career, they married another big shot woman whose background may be okay in terms of finances, and you have to take care of your mom every month, every day. It's on you. If you don't have that particular mature woman, that can be a problem, because they will complain, why are you doing this? Are you the only one who has a mom? And there's going to be a problem. So these issues can actually tear up families. You got to be smart about it. You got to put your family first. If your wife feels well taken care of and you have extra for your folks, I don't think they will complain. But if they can't find a dress, they can go to the shop, they can go out to eat with you, but every time you are sending, then of course they're going to complain. Same way for the husbands too. If you can stay home and make dinner, make nice food for me, but you are sending money to your folks to cook and do all these great dinners and stuff, then the husband is going to also complain. So it cuts across each place, and I think we may have to come back to this for just one show, talking about
Just to talk about
let's talk about diasporans, especially or professionals who have to give back and struggling with meeting their own financial needs. But it's a tension that can lead to breaks in a lot of marriages.
Yes, somebody says something about that if you are able to get to the point that you don't have to impress anybody, that's half of your struggle when it comes to finances. You don't have to impress people back home that you've made it and that you have arrived, so all their needs are going to be taken care of. There is no way that anybody can do that. And you don't want to dress to impress everybody. You want to, if you do that, you are always going to find yourself in trouble. So it's not about impressing other people. It's about what you are able and willing to do, so that if you send this amount of money to somebody and the person does not regard you or disrespect you after, it's not going to hurt you, because that was what you were able. It came out of your heart to help. So if you're not getting any returns, you're going to be okay with it. So you're not living your life to impress people. You are living your life able to help people because you have the resources to do so, Not that because people will tell you that you are good, or this person came before you and the person is doing this. So you just want to challenge them that you are better than them. No, you are going to run into trouble when you live your life that way.
My goodness. All right, so I think it's time to go to sin number 5, and that is sin competition with other marriages, competition and comparison with other marriages. I want you to.
Yes, so another dangerous trap is competition and comparison with other marriages. You know, all marriages are is different. They are different from one another. So you're going to run into trouble if all that you do is to compare yourself or to compete with another couple. Yeah, competing with the Joneses.
The Joneses, come on, man.
talked about. So it's easy to fall into the habit of comparing your financial situation to that of your friends or family member. You know, so this can lead to feeling of it can lead to feeling of inadequacies. Like you feel that we are not good enough. We are not making it like these people or the other family members. You know, there is a little bit of jealousy in there and unnecessary pressure that you put to yourself. You know, maybe the person that you're comparing with had some help somewhere that you are not getting that help. You know, some people have family connection that because of that they've been boosted.
Boosted, come on, man, I like that. They've been boosted.
Yeah, by a different source from somewhere that you do not know. You know, so if you're going to live your life comparing and competing, that is a disaster for divorce, because you always feel like, oh, we are not doing enough. Oh, you are not living up to the standard. Oh my God, we are falling behind. Everybody's race is different. So stay in your lane and enjoy your life and do what you are able to. Not because somebody is doing it, you also want to do it.
Oh, come on, man. Not because somebody is doing it. My goodness. That brings unnecessary pressure, which you cannot even keep up. Oh, come on, man. Unnecessary pressure. Yeah. You know, like today you say that, oh, the neighbors, you know, why, honey, why are we driving this old Toyota? And when all our neighbors, everybody is driving the Beamer, why shouldn't we at least we all do the same? We are all professionals. Why shouldn't we be able to buy this Mercedes? Why is everybody doing this? And especially the ladies are fond of that. Come on, man. I'll put you on the spot.
Sometimes the men are also fun, but they wouldn't say it. They would just do it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes the men also do that, and they won't say. But the point is, it is something that is happening. Or like the house, you know, why don't we buy this big mansion? You know, we can fit in a nice house too. Nobody's better than us. You got an education, or he's a doctor, you're a doctor too. Or you're a nurse, I'm also a nurse. You know, when we go to the parking lot, look at all the cars they're driving, and my husband only gives me this car. Oh, come on, man, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle. You know?
Yeah, some people, you know, can say that they always change their car every 3 years. They change their cars, and we keep driving the same car over and over. We need to upgrade a little bit.
Oh, come on, man.
But the car that you are driving is okay, and it can take you to places. So why do you rush into something because your neighbor is doing it?
Because your neighbor is doing it, or because your classmates are doing it, or because your work colleagues are doing it, or because, you know, people you know are doing it. People from church, oh, come on, man, that lady just came, and now look at the car. I have been here and working all these years, and I can't afford that. Oh, come on, man, we are all tired. We also get the car. We also get this house. And yes, you can get that house, or you can get that car. Look at that nice car on a screen.
Sparkling.
And look at what this guy would do. That's what I would do. Look.
Oh my God.
Come on, man. He even wipes the lint off the car. That's how guys will love cars. If you leave us, we will buy all the posh, brand new cars that come on the market. But at some point, you have to say no, right? Because it is not worth it. The race is not for the swift. You got to put your financial house in order. When you have set all those plans that are more important in place, then you should buy it. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm thinking. If I get everything that I think is more important, if the money is still there, then of course you should buy it. You know, but you don't have, your kids are not in college. You don't even know how they are going to come up with, college tuition. You don't have any house or roof over your head. You don't own a real estate property. You are renting, and you want to drive the best and top-notch car on the church campus or at your work parking lot. When you haven't done the most important, you have no life insurance even. When you even get a crash into this car and your both legs are cut and you can't walk anymore, you have no income. Come on, man, you don't do that. You got to put the things that are more important first. And that's why I'm happy about this channel of ours. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, because we are going to go into depth as some of the important things that everybody has to take care of before doing certain things like this. People are making such financial mistakes, comparing themselves to others and applying unnecessary pressure. And sometimes we, the society, are also to blame, because we judge people by the cars they drive.
Yes.
We judge people by the kind of suit they are wearing. We judge people by the house they live in. We don't judge them by if their financial house is in order.
Nobody sees that.
Nobody. Nobody sees that, right? They only see the ones that we show.
Yes.
But
we have to be smart.
We don't need people to judge you,
impress
anybody just because, you are there. And I like that's something I like about the US. You can be living in an apartment complex with a millionaire next door and you wouldn't know it. They have their financial house in order. They own properties. Their life insurance is about $5 million. If they died right now, their kids are all set.
That's the booster.
They have been boosted. They can go to whatever college they want, and yet they are living like nobody. But some of us, the little thing, everybody got to know, man. Everybody should know that I too have arrived. And that is where most marriages are breaking down, for the sheer pressure of trying to cope with the Joneses, comparing themselves with each other, whether it's at work or church or schoolmates, professionals that they know they want to impress and say that me too have arrived. So it is a recipe for disaster. If you cannot keep up, chances are that your financial house is going to be bad. And if you don't take it, the same woman, excuse me, I'm using woman a lot. The same woman that say, buy that car, let's move to that nice house. That same woman will leave you when you are bankrupt. Oh, come on, man. You see? She said, because you didn't succumb. You succumbed to her pressure, and she succumbed to the pressure of her friends. And now, like Eve, you have convinced Adam to eat the fruit. You see? And when you are found wanting, you will blame your Eve and say that the woman I thought I married from the church, the woman you gave me, it is your own doing, man. It is your own doing.
Let's go.
It is your own doing. So definitely we don't do that. Remember that every marriage is unique. Focus on your journey and your own goals rather than trying to match someone else's lifestyle.
Wow.
Your marriage is not a competition. It is a partnership that deserves its own path. You walk your own path slowly. And if you are blessed with knowledge, you are going to reach there.
Yes.
No time for anybody. All right. So I'll leave it at that if you want to.
Yeah, we're good.
You good? All right. So we're going to go to sin number 6. That's another big one. Sin number 6.
I think that's the biggest, though.
You think so?
That's the big deal. Yeah.
That's where we are also going to end up. So sin number 6, according to Gifty, is the biggest. No, I think it's this one. Let me see. Sin number 6 is lack of family budget. Oh, come on, man. Lack of a family budget. That is what Gifty is saying. People not having any budget. We are going to teach you how to make family budgets again on the same channel as you keep watching. But suffice to say that if you do not know how much you make as a couple and how much you spend at the end of either the week or month, if you do not have any idea of how much is coming in and how much is going out, it means you have no budget. If you are only going paycheck to paycheck, it means you have no budget because you don't know where every money is going. It's like, oh, let's wait for this one to come, then we'll pay for this bill. It means that you have not planned yet. I mean, it's possible people plan and you still have to wait for money to come in. That's okay. But if you have not planned, that happens more often because you have no plan. And the planning aspect is what we call budget. Sitting down with your wife or spouse and definitely going line by line as to where the money is coming from. Okay, you are getting this money from your paycheck. You're also getting this alimony because, your first your first marriage, you are being paid some money. Or, you got some child support coming in. We're adding everything. Your side, businesses that you're doing, you're adding everything up. And then you're also adding everything that you pay out, all the rent or mortgage, all the car notes you are paying, as well as every other bill, including donations, money that you remit to your extended family. All those are captured on a piece of paper. You add them, the left side must always equal the right side. And then when you are doing better, that side, which is income, must always be greater than the expenditure. That is when you are making enough to save and to spend on other things that are important to you. But at least if you haven't put any pen to paper, you don't have a budget, that is a recipe for financial disaster, which is also a recipe for your marital disaster. That family can be shattered. All it takes is one problem coming and everybody is going to scream because there's no money anywhere. There ain't going to be any way we're going to come out of this. Why? Because there was no plan for it. And that thing is so big that your wife cannot trust you anymore. You got to call it quits. You can talk to the pastor about it. Pastor, you guys preach and you say that the man must take care of his family. This man has not taken care of this family. He has not taken care of this family. So I'm out. I can't stand in this anymore. This particular issue, we are losing our home. We are losing this. We are losing this. Where should we sleep? I can't. Hopefully, especially the church girls don't do that. The Christian women won't do that. But if you don't have that woman that knows the word, they are going to bow out and say, peace out. Peace out. Budgetless man, I'm out. But it's not one man's responsibility. It's got to be the two members of the family. I'm talking about a couple in the family sitting down and planning out line by line what's got to be done. How much we get, how much we spend, how we can cut off some expenditures so that we will make money and use it for other things. If that is not done, then you don't have a budget. So in simple terms, that's what a budget is. So I'll say that finally we have this particular point that we cannot hammer, enough. So I'm going to let you say what you want to say.
Yeah, so I think the reason why I'm saying is the biggest is if we have a budget as a family, if we have a budget, it's likely that I'm not going to strain the family because I know how much we have. I'm not going to send a whole amount of money back home or to support my extended family because I know the expenses that we have as a family. If I know how much is coming and how much is going, I'm not going to be irresponsible and go and shop out and spend all the money to increase the debt on the credit card because I know how much is coming. If I know how much is coming, I know that I'm not just going to be emotional and just dash people money because it's money that I don't have. The trust will be in here. So you can see that all the points that we've talked about, if we have sat down, I don't know, I love the picture that you showed. You can see that the couple are really enjoying talking about money. Most of the time, it's not that enjoyable. Yeah. It's not fun, to really do this. But it's very important as family to put pen to paper and know how much is coming in. If somebody asks me, how much do you pay for mortgage? I shouldn't say that, ask my husband because I don't know. If somebody asks me, how much do you pay for grocery in a month? I should be able to come up with an amount. If somebody asks me, how much do you do this? How much is that? I should be able to know. Sometimes one person may take that responsibility, but as a partner, I should take also interest in what is going out so that I don't get this false idea that we have a lot of money. Because if I know what we've written down and I know what we are spending, I know that we don't have this such and such amount that somebody want me to give, you know. So it's something that is very important. I think we talked to one couple and they were saying that, oh, we sat down one time, we did the budget, but something unexpectedly hit and we have to throw away everything. I think things do happen, you know, and sometimes unexpected things happen and that you may go beyond what you have or what you can. When that happens, it doesn't mean you should throw out the budget completely. Maybe for that moment you've been hit and you may go off the budget a little bit. As the thing is being taken care of or as that thing get resolved, you have to come back together and start again. You know, it's a gradual thing. It doesn't happen overnight, just like building trust, right? So we have to come back, regroup, and rewrite the budget. And as the family grows and responsibilities changes, I think we have to come back to the budget and rewrite it to suit what is going on at that moment in the
So some
family.
people don't even have the first budget down.
Yeah.
There's no budget yet to even rewrite anyone.
rewrite it.
And that is
So,
where it's not good.
Yes.
And I also want to even chime in on the fact that something huge can come in and it may throw things off. In a proper budget, you should actually make room for unforeseen contingencies,
Right.
you know.
But sometimes the amount may not be
Enough. Yes, I hear you.
Right.
Yeah, but in a budget, you should have that. And we also talk about, we will have to do a show on that. We also talk about setting up, you know, a 6 month or 3 to 6 months of emergency funds.
Right.
So if you have the emergency funds, you know, and your car broke, you got to buy a car right away because without a car, you can't go to work. The emergency funds may be tapped to do that.
Right.
And then you can replenish that as you move forward. So there's got to be, we're going to go more detail on that front too as we move forward.
So the budget allows you to allocate money for your need. You know, it helps you to save for the future and even enjoy some fun along the way.
Because you put it on your line, on the line
So
item.
it's part of your budget. So a budget is a powerful tool for ensuring financial stability and harmony in the marriage. That's why I kept insisting that this is very important so that we all know what is going on. So that if I said I want to go to Paris for my 20th anniversary,
Oh, come on, man.
you know, because I know how much money we have, I'm not going to nag and complain because I know what you can afford and what you cannot afford. So if we know this, it brings stability and harmony in the relationship.
That's good. That's good. Budget. So again, that's another promise. We talk about budget, how to make a budget on this channel. So if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe because, as I said, these shows are teasing up onto the real fun stuff where we dig into the real nitty-gritties of how to do certain things, how to save for the future, you know, take care of your financial foundation, budgeting, and all those things. We're going to hit them as we move forward because we are both licensed professionals in that area. Apart from our health, we also do that. So we can talk about that as time goes on. So I think in order not to waste any more time, we're going to wrap up here